For anybody that doesn't know me, my name is Taro's Kid, and I am the founder of Taro's Salons, Fratelli Barbershop, and Tara Rose Academy. So what I'm going to be doing is, if that's okay, is I'm going to take a moment to share with you my journey and how I've got to where I have today. And that it hasn't been as all painted as roses as it is now, but how I've exactly got to where I am today. So I'm going to share with you a little bit of my background. So I have always been a hairdresser. I have been in the industry for over 20 years. I left school at the age of 16 with absolutely no education. Luckily for me, I fell into the hairdressing industry, and all of a sudden I felt like I was sense of belonging, somewhere that I absolutely finally fitted in. Anyway, so I spent my 20s in the UK within the hairdressing industry, working my way up. But something always seemed to be missing. You know, as a person in a creative industry, we're very, very good at what we do. We're great with our hands. We're great with, creating beautiful hair. But when it came to mindset, it was something that I always struggled with. So I left the UK and moved to Dubai in 2009. At this point, I was very, very low, and I moved here with £200 in my pocket. I worked in various salons, but something just never really clicked. Oh, okay. So then 15 years ago, I moved to Dubai. I then moved on to Abu Dhabi. This then was probably the lowest part of my career. I really, really struggled for somewhere to fit in. I couldn't find any salons to work in. So I decided to take a moment of faith and I opened my first salon back in 2015. That's correct. Okay. So basically, over the last however many years, after, loving the hairdressing industry, but very, very had no idea about how to run a business, I opened my first salon. So I then dedicated every waking moment after realizing that it was a lot more to do with not how you just cut and color hair, but about business. So over the last 9 years, I have dedicated myself to growing myself, my business and my team. Like I said, I now have 5 salons. I have a barbershop, I have a training academy, and I also have a couple of online platforms. So I'm going to share with you how I've done this. This is a personal journey, but it's also how 5 key pillars on how to grow your salon business as well. And this is my order of how I've done it. So I'm going to share with you them today. So the number one thing is mindset. If you think you can or you can't, you're absolutely right. So basically, when it comes to mindset, we have to learn how to grow it. We have to learn to grow it within ourselves. We have to show different mindsets within our clients. And equally, it's about the mindset of our teams as well. Okay. So for me, where I started my business, I had 0 self-worth. I really didn't believe I could do anything. But the moment I decided to work on my mindset was ultimately my business changed forever. So the first thing, if we have any business owners or anybody that's feeling like they're struggling a little bit, really, we cannot do anything else until we start to work on these things. So for me, there's a couple of tips on what you can do. I started life coaching, business coaching, exercise is super important, hobbies. I mean, I don't know how many workaholics are in the room, but spending time with family is really, really important as well. And ultimately, general self-care. Okay, so how do we then lead with a positive mindset? So leading with a positive mindset is so important because ultimately I spent so many years in miserable salons because the owner had a really, really bad mindset. The owner really, really didn't care. So it's so important that it starts and you understand that you have to lead with a positive mindset. So you need to also start to look at, okay, what is your brand's morale? What is the motivation? Limiting beliefs, anxiety, and always I ultimately look back to, as soon as I started working on my staff's mindset and my client's mindset, this is where everything changed forever because I look back to my 20s and I understand how bad my mindset was. And this was ultimately which was getting in the way. Okay, so your team. The team are so important. For me, this was probably one of the biggest things that I've achieved is I've grown a team of over 100 people now that really, really believe in the power of mindset. They believe in learning, they believe in growing, and limiting beliefs, as something that we don't think of. So you need to always, to grow that, you need to be able to recognize this within people when they are trying, make sure you do well. Organizing team building, provide opportunity for career development as well. This is really going to help with your team's mindset, and also creating a welcome environment into your salon. Okay, my second tip. So first of all, I've worked on my mindset. We work on the team mindset, you work on your own mindset, and then you have to work on your staff's mindset. But then the second thing I learned is I need to learn to communicate. So what is communication? Communication is the bridge between confusion and clarity. I never really thought of it that way, but wow, what a way to put it. Communication is the bridge between confusion and clarity. So the first thing we have to think about as business owners is, what is our messaging as a business? Okay, whether we're a salon, whether we're a product distribution company, do we really saying the right message when it comes to your mission, your vision, your values? I've been in business 9 years now, and this year I had to really go back and revisit what those values were. What was the vision? What was the mission? Because it's something that we regularly have to go and keep looking and keep redeveloping, not only for your team, but for your clients, but ultimately for you. Okay, communicating. So even when it comes to communication within your business, your SOPs, how important are SOPs and standards within your business? So important. When I first started off, I didn't have any of this. And I thought, oh, everybody be fine. But, it's so important that we are consistently communicating how we run our businesses, not just for the staff so they know where they stand, but ultimately as well the clients. Okay, and then communication strategies with your teams. Okay, so whether it's a salon business or whether we're a manufacturing company, you have to make sure you communicate with your team. So many businesses forget to do this. I'm not saying that we need to just let them, have their way all the time, but having regular team meetings, newsletters, leadership, like special opening hours, training and developing workshops, and also team building activities. Communication with your clients as well. Feedback, reviews is probably one of the most valuable forms of communication we can have as a business. Loyalty programs, and ultimately how we communicate our salon services. And client journey for me is probably one of the biggest things. Every client journey is so unique to that salon, into that business. So it's probably one of the best ways that you can really, really communicate everything that you are about as a business. Okay, so the third step is super important. Focus on money and profit. And a business without a path to money or profit is just a hobby. Like I said, my business, I opened myself. And I'm not going to lie, for the last 9 years, everything that I've made has gone back in. But that not being said, I'm still very, very focused on the profit. I understand exactly how much profit I want to be bringing in. I focus on the profit, the net profit, rather than the revenue. So again, within the salon business, this is probably one of the biggest things that salons forget to do, and that is being focused on your fixed costs. You must be focused on your fixed costs. We're also going to talk a little bit about budgeting, and that understanding that cash flow and net profit are two completely different things. So do you know what your key performance indicators are? Do you track these within the business? It's so important that you track these, because if we don't track these, how can we measure anything? So again, for some few of the things that we track, service sales is a huge thing. We also separate treatment sales. We live in a place where treatments are so big in this part of the world. But you must also separate your retail sales as well. Your retail sales can be a separate business. Rebooking, huge. People that let their clients go out the door with rebooking are making their lives so much harder. The retention rate and everything and getting them to come back in is so much more difficult. So rebooking is a huge thing. Your average bill. Okay, average bill is huge. You should have your retail and you should have your average bill separate, but focusing on your average bill is really, really big. And also client numbers. So if you don't know exactly how many clients are coming through that door each week, how do you know how many more you need to get in? Okay, understanding fixed costs, like we spoke about here. Obviously, the more salons you get, the more you really, really need to understand your fixed costs. Obviously, rent, utilities, insurance, marketing, training should be in there with your fixed costs, subscription services and training, and non-revenue generating staff. Budgeting as well. This has probably been, I've expanded maybe 50% in the last 2 years. So budgeting, without doing this, the business would have been gone. But obviously then we have to start to budget all the things that are going to be coming up over the next couple of years. Stock management. Who understands what percentage their stock should be in terms of service sales? It's like a hole in the bucket. So many salons, you are mixing up so much color, so much shampoo, unbelievable amounts. So much money gets lost through stock management. You need to understand exactly what percentage your stock should be at in terms of your revenue. Ordering and reordering, simple things like this, having, plans in place, minimum and maximum stock. And also when it comes to your pricing, this is huge. We all have so many different businesses in different locations. How can we all charge the same? You must understand about pricing and strategy. Okay, so this one is a big one for me. It's about development. So anybody that comes to work for my salon has to understand that development is a big part of and one of our big core values within the company. Because for me, it's very important to me that I learn and grow and develop. So my team also has to do that as well. So one of our big things that we've spoken about today is development and education. For me, the more I learn, the more you earn, and that's a fact. The more you know you don't know. Okay, so for me, like I said, I'm a hairdresser by trade, so I could cut and colour hair, but I had no idea how to run a business. And I think equally, again, there's a lot of people that come into the salon industry as business owners that don't have any idea about the industry. So it's really, really important that you must learn and continue to grow to develop yourself. So you must learn about financial management, business planning and strategy, marketing and branding, customer service and experience, staff management and leadership, operations and workflow, and industry trends and innovation. We have to keep learning and growing. Okay, so also again, we have to teach our staff better skills. For me, I now have Tara Rose Academy, and Tara Rose Academy was a big part of my journey because I understood that cutting and colouring was probably about 50% of what we actually do. The other 50% has absolutely nothing to do with cutting and colouring. So for me, we focus on a lot of other things. We look at obviously the technical skills, but we look at the assistance training, front of house, head office, client journey and communication. We've also started doing sales training within the business because, again, I don't know what it is. Sales is a bit of a dirty word, isn't it? But if you have something to sell, a product, and we have all these stylists or beauticians that are trying to sell it but have no idea about sales, this is half of the problem. Team building as well. This is a huge thing for development. A lot of our team building comes down to our core values. Who do we stand for? What is our vision? And we do a lot of training around that. And then a huge one is social media and marketing. Everybody now, again, needs to be more than a hairdresser. They need to know how to promote themselves. They need to know how to market themselves. And we go on to marketing. So this is my final step before we go on to trends. So what is marketing? It's simply telling everybody what you do. So many people are fixated on just social media. Social media is the shop window to your salon, but it is not the only way to market. Okay, so these are some of my strategies. I'm coming away from social media now. I love social media, but I'm going to come away from it because I really want to show you the different strategies that you can have towards marketing yourself and your business. So brand awareness, obviously you've got digital marketing up there. Online reputation management. How many of us actually manage our online reputation? Google reviews and things that people are saying, Facebook groups. Again, promotions and offers. Upselling and cross-selling is a huge thing in your business. How many of us are actually doing that properly? Community engagement. This is probably one of the quickest ways I grew my first salon, and it was all to do with community engagement. It was being out in public, helping at events, and just being there to support other businesses. Community engagement is really, really strong. And networking. Love it or hate it, networking is so important because you get to get out there. You get to network with other like-minded business owners. And then obviously telling your story. Again, I'm up here today. I'm up here because I'm marketing myself. No matter how scary it is, I'm up here and I'm telling you my story. Okay, events, a huge thing. How many people do events? It's a great way to market. Local networking events, business collaborations. How many people actually collaborate with other businesses? It's so good. Remember, you get to utilize their networks as much as yours. Influencer events. Okay, so we all have our own opinions on influencers. But what we're really talking about here is people who influence. These are the people that we're talking about. If you're going to use influencers, that's absolutely great. But you need to make sure they're in line with your target market. And obviously, educational events and charity events. So for me, this is probably one of the biggest things that I did, the most scary, by the way, but understanding how to build my own personal brand. 8 years ago, I couldn't even have a team meeting. I couldn't even speak in public. But I knew that I had to grow my personal brand and I had to overcome these things. So getting up here and talking in front of today is about building my personal brand also. You've got two types, you've got your business and then you have your personal brand. So think about it. Every successful person that has a business also has a personal brand. So you guys as business owners, it's really, really important to find out how to utilize that. And obviously, it does many things. You can establish credibility and trust, unique selling point. You get to build relationships and you create opportunities for long-term success. And obviously, then you get to create legacy. Okay, so we're going to go on to now. That was a little bit about how I built my salons, myself and my business. But we're going to do a bit of an overview now on future trends and what to look out for. As business owners, it is our job to educate ourselves on future trends. If we do not do this and we take it for granted, this is the moment your business fails. So obviously, sustainability and eco-friendly practices. This isn't a trend. This is something that we should all be doing. It is our future. It is our world. It is our planet. Taking sustainability seriously is very important. Not just because it's a trend, but it's our human right to do so. So there's so many ways that you can do this. You don't have to be a completely eco-friendly salon, but we do small things like start recycling. We're obviously watching our product waste. We have refill stations for products, but absolutely eco-friendly and sustainability practices. So a big future trend, guys, is the personalization and customization for the clients coming into your business. This is so important. You've got to really, really look at, people are wanting more than just hair now. They're wanting more than just nails. They are wanting a personalized and customized service. So regardless of whatever business you may be, you really need to look at, how can I tailor that for my client individually? And then obviously the lovely technology integration and all the other fabulous things. People are now even wanting AR tools where people are coming in and they get to visualize themselves with different hair colors and different makeup. And again, I think in this part of the world, it's something that we really, really do anyway, online booking systems and everything. But Europe and the UK are a little bit further behind. Health and wellness focus. For me, this is everything. A health and wellness focus. We have done this for a long time within our salon. But again, for your clients, people come into your business to feel better, ultimately. They come in to look better, but they want to feel better. 9 times out of 10, you've got somebody coming into your business and they want their hair cut off. But 9 times out of 10, they're wanting that hair cut off because of an emotional issue. So it's really, really important that we understand as business owners that we have to ask the right questions in order to give the best advice. So diversity and inclusivity is so important. So when you're marketing your brand, I mean, it's so amazing because in this part of the world, we have many different nationalities, many different clients. So I love being here. But it's so important to understand that when we're marketing, okay, yes, we know who our client is, but we cannot take for granted that, okay, we could just be in one type of hair. You have to remember now that being diverse is really, really important. It's going to be a huge future trend. So again, at-home services is a really big thing as well, especially here in Dubai. Abu Dhabi, maybe not so much, but the traffic is horrendous here. So home services is really important because if you're not going to do it, then I can guarantee that somebody else will. So maybe thinking about having something for at-home services and being able to send somebody out so you don't lose that business is really important. And education and skill development, like I said in my beginning presentation, it is so important to educate and skill development, because what's going to happen is people are going to get left behind. I think probably one of the biggest tips I can take away from today is to never take it for granted that you know everything and to think that you've built it to where it needs to be. Because personally myself, I did that this year while I was building and scaling. And then ultimately that led me to feeling very, very low and unsure of what I wanted to do. But what I realized is I'd stopped doing this. I'd stopped educating myself and I'd stopped developing my skills. As soon as you start with that, everybody follows you. And then obviously social media and influencer marketing. Again, guys, it's really understand to know your target market. There are some really big influencers and there's a lot to do with social media. But if you're going to spend a hell of a lot of money on an influencer and they are not in line with your brand values, there is absolutely no point. And subscription models is a huge thing. Some businesses do it, some don't. Guys, again, you should have maybe 3 different subscription models, one high level, one medium and one low. And when you're coming in and having consultations, always talk about the highest price first, because then you're setting your standard as to where you are as a business. 9 times out of 10, they'll probably go for the medium or the low, but subscription models are really important. And obviously the client experience. So again, our mission statement here is we ask the right questions in order to give the right advice. We don't just want you to look amazing, we want you to feel it. So for me, the reason I opened my business is because I wanted to make people feel better. So again, it's really important you go back to your communication and understand what your brand values are as a company and why you do what you do, because you will always struggle with this if it is not solid. And that's it from me today. Thank you for listening to me talk on. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm here. I am, like I say, owner of Salons, but I'm also a mentor and coach for other salon owners. And we also have the Tara Rose Academy. So if anybody's got any questions, let me know. Any questions?
Congratulations for sharing your story and your success. We couldn't tell it's your first time on stage. Good job with that. You killed it. Out of curiosity, I'd like to know how long did it take, like in the first steps, in order for you to feel confident and step up on your feet and, I don't know, feel successful after the launch of the first salon of yours and then scaling up?
I don't think you ever feel like that, to be honest. That's probably one of the things I have to work on the most is being okay in the moment, and forgetting that it's really important that we celebrate the wins along the way. And I think this is why I got to 9 years this year and was like, oh my God, what have I done with the last 9 years of my life? Because I'd forgotten to enjoy it along the way. I think it's every moment is growth. You never become fully confident. I think people will always tell you differently. But I suppose public speaking was one of the biggest things. I used to hide behind my company for many years, maybe 4 or 5 years. So then coming out and publicly speaking, being the face of the company, really changed a lot for me. So maybe this is something. It's not hiding, because normally it's, okay, you go.
Great, thanks.
Hi, Tara.
Hi.
Thank you so much for this astonished story. And it's very inspiring, really, what you are doing. So, building on your experience and this great success story, I'm sure you have been through ups and downs across all the journey. So, what could be your advices for those startups, the key challenges that you have been through, that the people can benefit from the experience you come over those challenges?
I think don't let anybody tell you can't do it. For many years, I think so many people told me I wasn't clever enough and I couldn't do it. And I think that held me back a lot. So, yeah, never let. If it's something that you can think about and you can envision, you can do it. But obviously, again, it's really important that you understand what type of company you want to open and what does it stand for. Because I think if you try to be too much for too many people, it will always fail. So this is why I understood very quickly that I need to be unique. I need to be different. And whereas I used to run away from that when I was younger, now it's part of my journey, you know. So I think it's you must understand what you stand for, be proud of it. And yeah, make sure nobody tells you can't do it.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
I'm Satya Prabhu from India. You look quite beautiful. You look like our Indian actor. We are actually selling human hair attachments.
Okay.
So we wanted to reach the salon owners and the prospective customers all around the globe, especially in GCC and western part of India, also Africa.
Yep.
So can you help us to reach? Can you guide us?
Yeah, I can come and give you some advice, absolutely. The
Yes.
best way is to reach out to probably the few key players and send them something for free.
Yeah.
That would. How long are you here for?
Maybe 2 months, 60 days.
Yeah, 2 months. So what you need to do, first of all, is you need to get a list of all the top salons that you want to do business with.
Okay.
Okay, then you need to make sure you get in front of them. So you either turn up or you send them a message, or I can help you in a certain way. I'll give you my Instagram. But I think it's that you need to get in front of people. So many people just send emails or just send something. You need to be able to have your product ready with a good presentation about why it's different to everybody else. And then you need to get in front of them.
Okay. And also, we have a lot of herbs from India which are used for hair washing and the face wash. Do people use here? And if somebody wants to try that, will they be interested to? Or else, if we have to convince people to buy such products, what do we have to do? Have you ever experienced Ayurvedic products from India?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, the products are absolutely amazing. But I think this is the thing within business. There's so many people trying to do the same thing. So it's really, really important that you understand your unique value and what value you can add to different salons rather than just trying to get to the mass. It's understand, okay, this product is great for this type of business. So I need to get into that business. I can give you my Instagram.
Thank you, ma'am. So nice of
No
you.
problem.
Again, I say you are beautiful.
That's it. We're done. No more questions. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Tara Rose Kidd. Thank you so much for sharing your entrepreneurial journey with us today. Thank you very much.